Good morning. Today we will discuss regarding time response analysis of the system. It is important to analyze the response given by the system for the applied excitation, which is function of time. So analysis of response means to see the variation of output with respect to time. The evaluation of system is based on the analysis of such response. This output behavior with respect to time should be within specified limits to have satisfactory performance of the system. So we have to see the variation of output with respect to time by using the time response of the system. So time response of the system is defined as the output of a system when subjected to an input which is a function of time. So time response analysis means subjected the control system to inputs that are functions of time and studying their output which are also a function of time. So time response, a control system generates an output or response for a given input. The input represents the desired response while the output is actual response of the system. For example, elevator. So the time response of a control system means how output behaves with respect to time. So in time domain analysis, time is the independent variable. When the system is given an excitation, there is a response, or it is also called a output. So the definition, the response given by the system which is function of the time to the applied excitation is called as time response of a control system. In any practical system, output of the system takes some finite time to reach to its final value. This time varies from system to system and is dependent on different factors. Similarly, final value achieved by the output also depends on the different factors like friction, mass or inertia of moving elements, some non-linearities present, etc. So example of time response is the response of motor speed when a command is given to increase the speed is shown in the figure. So this is a time response of the motor. So from the figure, the motor speed gradually picks up from 1000 rpm and moves towards 1500 rpm. From 1000 to, when you increase the speed from 1000 rpm to 1500 rpm, the response of the motor, it is given like that. So this is a response that is shown. So the motor speed gradually picks up from 1000 rpm and moves towards 1500 rpm. It overshoots and again corrects itself and finally settles down at the last value. You can see, so it is oscillating nature and finally it is settled down. So you can see the graph. So that is a time response of a particular system. Another example, the response of a lift to a input to move up is shown in the figure. So from the ground floor, it is reaching to the first floor, and this is a command input that is shown by the dotted line, and the actual movement, it is shown by the thick line. So this is a time response for a lift. That is that graph, it is shown in the figure. So this is a time response for a lift for the particular input that is given to that system. Therefore, we can classify the total output response into two parts. First, the part of output during the time it takes to reach to its final value, and the second, the final value attained by output which will be near to its desired value if system is stable and accurate. So successfulness and accuracy of the system depends on the final value reached by the system output, which would be very close to what is desired from that system. While reaching to its final value, in the meantime, output should increase smoothly. Thus, the final state achieved by the output is called as steady state, while output variations within the time it takes to achieve the steady state is called as transient response of the system. So, as defined earlier, time response is the response of control system as a function of time. The time response analysis is divided into two parts. Okay, so the first part, that is the output is changing with respect to time. So you can see in a diagram, in a first part, it is a that is called that output it is changing with respect to time. So this is a oscillating nature. So that response it is called a transient response. And second part, that is output is almost constant, that is a steady state response. So you can see the graph at the right hand side. So that output is almost constant. At the last, it will become the constant. So that response it is called a steady state response. So the time response analysis is divided into two parts. First part, it is a output is changing with respect to time, that is the first part of the response, that is called a transient response. And the later one, that is the second part, that is a output that becomes almost constant, that is called a steady state response. So keep in mind, so there are two parts. First part of the time response is transient response, and the next part of the response is the steady state response. So then now we will see what is transient response. So the system takes certain time to achieve its final value. So that is called a transient period. So definition, the variation of output response during the time it takes to reach its final value is called as transient response of a system. The time period required to reach to its final value is called transition period. So the output variation during the time it takes to achieve its final value is called as transient response. The time required to achieve the final value is called as transient period. This can also be defined as that part of the time response which decays to zero after some time as system output reaches to its final value. So this is an example of transient response. So transient response may be exponential or oscillatory in nature. So this is a exponential nature of the transient response. So symbolically it is denoted as CT, that is function of t. So that part of the time response that goes to zero as time becomes very large as called as transient response. So limit t tends to 0, t tends to infinity, c of t is equal to 0. As the name suggests that transient response remains only for some time for initial state to the final state. So symbolically it is denoted as Ct of t. To get the desired output, system must pass satisfactorily through transient period. Transient response must vanish after some time to get the final value close to the desired value. Such systems in which transient response dies out after some time are called as stable systems. So mathematically, for stable operating systems, limit t tends to infinity, c of t is equal to 0. So from transient response, we can get the information, this information about the system. We can know when the system has started showing its response to the applied excitation. That is the first point of the information from the that we get from the transient response. So first, when the system has started showing its response, so when the system has started showing its response to the applied excitation. Second, what is the rate of rise of output? It also gives indication whether system is fast behaving or not. Third is whether the output is increasing exponentially or it is oscillating. So we will know that so output is exponential or oscillating. Fourth is if output is oscillating, whether it is overshooting its final value and when it is settling down to its final value. All this information matters much at the time of designing the systems. Then steady state response. So it is basically the final value achieved by the system output. The steady state response starts when the transient response completely dies out. So definition is it is that part of the time response which remains after complete transient response vanishes from the system output. The steady state response is generally the final value achieved by the system output. Its significance is that it tells us how far away the actual output is from its desired value. This response indicates the accuracy of the system. So the definition is the part of the response that remains after the transient period completely dies out is called a steady state response. That part of the response that remains after the transients have died out is called steady state response. The symbol for steady state response, steady state output is CSS of T. So from steady state response, we can get the following information about the system, that how much away the system output is from its desired value, which indicates the error. Whether this error is constant or varying with time. So the entire information about the system performance can be obtained from transient and steady state response. Hence, the total time response, that is C of t, we can write as C of t is equal to CSS of t plus CT of t. That is, so total time response that will be equal to the steady state response plus transient response. So steady state error, the difference between the desired output and the actual output of the system is called as steady state error, which is denoted by ESS. The above definitions can be shown in the waveform. So this is a steady state response. So you can see the total time response, it is the addition of transient response. So initial stage, you can see this is a oscillatory in nature, that transient response, and then it will become the constant after vanishing the transient response. That response, it is called a steady state response. So time response, it is the addition of two response, that is transient response plus steady state response. So initially you can see the oscillatory graph, that is called a transient response, that is a earlier stage of the response, and after dies out that transient response, after some time you will get the steady state response. And the you can see there is a error. So it is a difference between desired output and the actual output of the system, that is called a steady state error, which is denoted by ESS. So this is a again the time response. So transient response, so this is a transient response and steady state response that is shown, and the steady state error, it is shown. So two natures. So the nature of transient response in this graph, it is exponential, and then it becomes the steady. So in this graph, the nature of the transient response, it is oscillatory, and in this graph the nature of the transient response, it is exponential. Then standard test inputs. So for time response analysis of control systems, we need to subject the system to various test inputs. Test input signals are used for testing how well a system responds to known input. Some of the standard test signals that are used are impulse, step, ramp, parabolic, sinusoidal. So it is very interesting fact to know that most control systems do not know what their inputs are going to be. Thus, system design cannot be done from input point of view, as we are unable to know in advance the type of input. So in the analysis and design of a control system, we must have a basis of comparison of performance of various control systems. This basis is being set up by specifying particular test input signals and by comparing the response of various systems to these input signals. So for example, when a radar tracks an enemy plane, the nature of the enemy plane's variation is random. The train curves on or the curves on road etc. are random for a drives in an automobile system. The loading of a shearing machine, when and which load will be applied or thrown off. So these are the examples. Now need for the standard test signals. Thus from such types of inputs, we can expect a system in general to get an input which may be first a sudden change, a momentary shock, a constant velocity, or a constant acceleration. So these are the such types of inputs we can expect a system in general to get an input which may be these types of that are shown there. Hence, these signals form standard state test signals. The response of these signals is analyzed. The above inputs are called as, so first is step input, it signifies a sudden change. Then second is impulse input, it signifies a momentary shock. Third is the ramp input, signifies a constant velocity. And fourth is parabolic input, it signifies the constant acceleration. So these are the such type of inputs so we can expect from a system. So these are the standard test signals. So the response of these signals, it is analyzed. So this basis is being set up by specifying particular test input signals and by comparing the response of various systems to these input signals. So first is step input, that is position function. So it is the sudden application of the input at a specified time. So mathematically it can be described as, so r of t is equal to a for t is greater than or equal to 0 and equal to 0 for t is less than 0. So if a is 1, then it is called as unit step function and it is denoted by u of t. So the Laplace transform for such step input is a upon s, and Laplace transform for unit step input, that will be equal to 1 upon s. So Laplace transform for step input it is a upon s, and for unit step input it is 1 upon s. So you can see the graph for the step input, that is a position function. So the step signal imitate the sudden change characteristics of actual input signal. So if a equal to 1, the step signal is called unit step signal. Then ramp input, so that is a velocity function. The ramp signal imitate the constant velocity characteristics of an actual input signal. So it is a constant rate of change of input, that is gradual application of input. So magnitude of ramp input is nothing but its slope. So mathematically it is defined as r of t is equal to a t for t is greater than or equal to 0 and equal to 0 for t is less than 0. Now if a equal to 1, it is called as unit ramp input. Now the Laplace transform for ramp input, that will be equal to a upon s square, and for unit ramp input that will be equal to 1 upon s square. So if a equal to 1, the ramp signal is called as unit ramp signal. Then parabolic signal, so that is acceleration function. So this is the input which is 1 degree faster than a ramp type of input. So parabolic signal imitate the constant acceleration characteristics of actual input signal. So r of t is equal to a t square upon 2 for t is greater than or equal to 0 and equal to 0 for t is less than 0. So where a is called as magnitude of the parabolic input. If a equal to 1, the parabolic signal is called unit parabolic signal. So the Laplace transform for parabolic input, that will be equal to a upon s cube, and for Laplace transform for unit parabolic input, that will be equal to 1 upon s cube. So you can see the parabolic nature of the graph. Then the impulse signal. So it is the input applied instantaneously for short duration of time of very high magnitude. So it is the pulse whose magnitude is infinite while its width tends to 0, that is t tends to 0, applied momentarily. Area of the impulse is nothing but its magnitude. So the impulse signal imitate the sudden shock characteristics of the actual input signal. So mathematically it can be expressed as r of t is equal to a for t equal to 0 and equal to 0 for t is not equal to 0. So its Laplace transform is always 1. So if a equal to 1, that is for unit impulse response, the unit impulse is denoted by d of t. So the Laplace transform for the impulse input that will be equal to 1, and Laplace transform for unit impulse input that will be also equal to 1. So you can see the tabular format of these inputs. So Laplace transform for step input, it is a upon s. For ramp input, it is a upon s square. For parabolic input, it is a upon s cube, and impulse input, it is 1. And for unit step, so Laplace transform for unit step input, it is 1 upon s. For unit ramp input, it is 1 upon s square. For unit parabolic input, it is 1 upon s cube, and for unit impulse input equal to 1. So this is regarding the time response analysis of a control system. Thank you.